Don't let having a small space be what holds you back. Most people ignore the space right outside their home. They say things like, it's gonna cost too much, or it's too high maintenance, I don't know how to take care of a plant. Well, we're gonna stop making excuses, and I'm gonna help you create peace zones right at your home. So first thing you're probably asking is, what is a peace zone? So a peace zone is different areas that you can create around the exterior of your home where you can go for a retreat. It's going to be personalized to you and what gives you peace, but it is so important. I think, sometimes we think a lot about the inside of our home and, having that little reading nook or, the cozy sofa in your living room. But we forget that we need to be outside. We need fresh air, and the exterior of our home is just as important as the interior of our home. And we would use it a lot more if we created these different spaces on the exterior of our home. I'm going to hit some objections today of the common things that I see why people don't do anything with the exterior of their home, or they don't create these peace zones. And I'm going to debunk them, and I'm going to help you get over it so that you can have the exterior that you deserve. Objection number one, I don't want to take care of plants. This is a huge one, and I think this is one, if you saw my kitchen garden video, I talked about this there as well. But one of the biggest things that you can invest in, and yes, it costs a little bit of money. If you're handy, you can do it yourself. Getting drip lines put in your home is one of the most game-changing things that you can do, because all you have to do is set it on a timer and it waters your plants for you. So there are so many low maintenance plant options that you can get that don't take, a ton of care and pruning and all the things, maybe once every couple of years, and they're watered and then they're taken care of. And a lot of them, even after a few years after they get established, you can then shut off the drip lines and they can maintain themselves after that. But definitely for the first few years, you want to keep them watered, especially depending on where you live, but how hot it gets. If you have some place that gets pretty hot, you'll want to make sure they're watered, because that will obviously be the first way to kill a plant. Drip lines take care of themselves. If you're handy, you can do it yourself. You can set up the drip lines yourself. If you can afford to have someone else do it, go for it. But I think setting up drip lines and going to your local nursery and asking them for low maintenance plants that will take care of themselves is one of the best ways to do it. If you have the extra funds, you can have a landscape designer and they will do that for you. Otherwise, even if you don't have like a garden space, but say you have a patio, I've talked about this in my curb appeal video, but spend money on high quality faux plants and you can have like a little pot with some faux flowers in it, and it still gives that softness and that beauty, and you don't have to take care of it at all. There's definitely ways around it, and it's just an excuse if you don't like taking care of plants. There is ways to still create that softness and that beauty and bring an inviting atmosphere without having a high maintenance yard. So the second objection that I see is, I just don't have the space. So I was thinking about this, like even if you have, well, obviously if you're in an apartment that doesn't have an exterior space, this video is not for you. But even if you just have a very small balcony or a patio area, I think it's especially important if you only have a small space, because it will just mean so much more just to get outside, even in that little area. Have your coffee in the morning, just enjoy your dinner out there, whatever it is, read a book. Having a small seating area that has, a chair and a little side table, put down an outdoor rug, it goes a long way to really just give you that added bonus, especially if you're in an apartment that's smaller and you need the extra square footage. You want another place to sit and rest besides what you have on the inside. It's worth it for sure. Something that you can do if you don't have a lot of privacy, and that's a reason why you don't like to go outside, is hanging curtains if that's an option, or putting up like vertical screens. They have a lot that you can even plant in, so it's like a wood screen, and then there's like a planter box at the bottom. Those are really beautiful, and they would shield you from your neighbors in that way. Yeah, there's so many different ways to overcome it, so don't let having a small space be what holds you back. Okay, the third objection, it's too expensive or it's not worth it. So I would say if money is an issue here, just start small. Start with one small section of your yard. Say you have a huge yard and you just are overwhelmed by it. I would personally start at the front of the house and making sure that it's inviting and your curb appeal is nice. If you can have like some cute little seating area out there so that you can kind of that like southern vibe of like drinking your iced tea or your lemonade and watching the neighbors walk by and saying hi to them as they walk by. But just creating that inviting entryway, I would just start there. It really welcomes people in. in, it gives you a place to go outside and get some fresh air and sit down for a breather either at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, and it's worth it. And so just do it in small little chunks. You don't have to do your whole yard all at once, but spending just that little extra time, starting with your front entryway, your front main walkway to your front door, always start there. The other thing about starting with your entryway is if you're worried about overspending, maybe for your neighborhood or whatever, adding curb appeal will always add to the value of your home. If your house photographs nice, if it's inviting when people come to look at your house down the road, if you go to sell your house, that is always dollar signs in your bank account. Another thing I would hit on about creating peace zones, if you feel like you can't have a peaceful area in your home because you're really close to your neighbors and you don't have that privacy. I mentioned it briefly for those that are in a small space, have like an apartment balcony. Those screens also work for larger spaces too. This deck, wraparound deck, and I am exposed to people walking by on the sidewalk, and right now I don't have anything there, but what my plan is to put in like a greenery hedge so that we will have some evergreens that will be green year round, because we do get snow here in the winter, and I like it to be inviting and green even when it's cold and gray outside. So that's what I'm gonna do for privacy. Also, I think you might be able to see behind me, but like between the property of our home and our neighbor's home, we have a greenery hedge of a bunch of different types of plants that help soften the property line. And I actually live next to an Airbnb, and they rent out their basement space, so people walk right past here to get to their back door. And so privacy is important, and I value it. And although I'm happy to meet new people, I also want to enjoy a nice quiet dinner with my family on our porch sometimes. So having the greenery is really nice, just to give that bit of separation but still have it be soft and inviting. Of course, fences are always nice. You can do, they even have screens now that you can they have like little stakes at the bottom that you can push into the ground, so you don't have to put in a permanent fence, and then you can grow like vines on it or something, especially if you're somewhere where it's more, the temperature is more mild year round, and you can have vines that are either blooming or green year round. That would be really beautiful. There's so many different solutions, so I just want to keep encouraging you that having peaceful space to go outside of your home is so important. It's key to mental health, to get outside and breathe fresh air, and it's also important just for your home, for the value of your home, for enjoying the home that you live in. It's vital. So don't overthink your exterior. You think of them just like you would your interior, your living space, and you just use materials that are made for being weather resistant, and give it the same principles of layering and texture. And if you need more help with that, you can watch a number of my videos. I talk through all these things, each of my videos, and how you can make your spaces more inviting and how to think like a designer. And then if you need help beyond that, of course, you can reach out to me, and I would love to work with you.